Welcome, everybody, to The Psychic and the Doc. I'm Mark Anthony, and I'm here with my amazing co-host, the street smart spiritual behavioral psychologist, the one and only Dr. Pat Baccili. And we got a really great show. In fact, we have a really great month lined up, because the other day when Dr. Pat and I were talking, we were talking about the significance of November. And November is so transitional in many ways. It's the last full month of winter. It starts off with Halloween, then Dia de los Muertos, All Souls Day, All Saints Day. We have Veterans Day, and then we have Thanksgiving, a day to give thanks. And Dr. Pat said, this is Nirvana November. And it's just like, I absolutely love that. And to make it even better, today is Diwali, which is part of the Hindu Festival of Light. So we have really hit November Nirvana right on the head. And Dr. Pat, Diwali is the significance of the light against the dark, against the positive, against the negative, and the knowledge against ignorance. So I'd say that, as usual, you hit the nail on the head with theming this month as November Nirvana.
Yeah. And one of the things that I love about this is that in the scheme of things, when we're looking at how to match up energies, we get different hits on different things. And so Nirvana is, of course, the name of a fantastic rock band that came out of my backyard pretty much. But it also has other meaning. And it was fascinating as I was sitting here today, and there's so many things that you could listen to in the news or you can listen to on our network. But the fascinating thing about Nirvana is it has a place in everybody's heart. What do you think about that?
Absolutely, because Nirvana is, in Hindu and Buddhist terms, it's the state of bliss. It's the state of enlightenment. It's the state of consciousness. It could be compared to, or perhaps it's just another word for heaven. And so everybody, people are not split into negative and positive. Everybody has light and dark within them. And what makes someone positive or negative is what he or she does with their decisions and their own free will. So we all have Nirvana within us if we accept it, embrace it, and access it. And we talk a lot about light on this show. And when we were discussing this show the other day, and certainly the fact that it falls on Diwali, here's a lamp, an ancient Middle Eastern lamp. And one of my favorite spiritual sayings is from Rumi, who was a very distinguished Persian, Iranian, Islamic scholar in the medieval era. And he wrote that the lamps may be different, but the light is the same. And that is, the lamp is the metaphor for not just people, but also for different belief systems. But what we're all doing is focusing on the divine, the light, the love, the energy, the acknowledgement that we're all interconnected. And that is what attaining nirvana is all about. And that is what the Hindu festival of Diwali is about celebrating.
Yeah. And, you mentioned Rumi. Okay. So let's just stay with that for a minute, because when we think about nirvana and we think about Rumi, and you put those two things like in one sentence or put them in one thought, let's just have it in a thought. So when we're thinking about, can you believe it? The callers are so wanting to get in here. I'm getting them on my cell phone. What we're thinking about here is it's a concept, but it's more than that. It's an energy. It's what you were saying before. It's this transcendent state in which there is neither suffering, desire, nor sense of self. And we're released from all of the effects of what we call karma. It is a place of rebirth. And some people are, and especially in Buddhism, it is the final stage of that. And so one of the really cool things is when you think about some of the great poems and some of the great poets, Rumi is a poet. He's also a significant spiritual teacher.
Yes.
And so I want to share this as we go to break. And when we come back from break, we'll go right to the phones. One of my favorite poems. And I don't know why it's called A Great Wagon, but it's kind of the middle of the verse. It says, out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. When the soul lies down in that grass, the world is too full to talk about. Ideas, language, even the phrase each other doesn't make any sense. The breeze at dawn has these secrets to tell us, to tell you. Don't go back to sleep. You must ask for what you really want. Don't go back to sleep. People are going back and forth across the doorsill where the two worlds touch. The door is round and open. Don't go back to sleep. I feel like sending that poem to the Congress. Let's take a short break, everybody. We'll be right back. I don't know. Jacob, are you feeling a little Kurt Cobain?
We'll see about that.
Oh my gosh, bringing me back. Wow. Nirvana. That's what we're talking about today. And Mark, like we are taking calls, right? So are we ready?
We are.
All right, because I know that they've been busy picking up the phones.
All right. I'm looking forward to it.
All right, get your game face on. Oh, I see. What are you drinking out of that bottle? I saw you
Water.
take a sip of that. Yeah.
It's Diwali juice. No, it's water.
I can't even believe it. I got on a turtleneck today. I never wear a turtleneck. What is up with that? Just feeling a little turtlenecky. It's all Nirvana. I'm choking up that last bit of karma. It's like, Jacob, help us out here.
All righty. We've got Cindy from Canada calling in.
Hi, Cindy. Welcome to the show. You're live on the Psychic and the Doc. You're like live.
Hey, Cindy.
Hi.
Hey, you're live.
Hi.
Hey, how can we help you today?
I have a question about my son. And, well, it's not really a question, but I'm looking for any clarity that I could get about his situation and just to help me heal and put some of the pieces together.
Okay. Now, is your
I don't
son
know.
in spirit?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Stand by. Let me open up to frequency and see who steps forward. And for your benefit and the benefit of all the callers, sometimes the person you want to hear from the most is not always the first one to step forward. Okay. But I am getting a male energy associated with you, Cindy, coming through. And I'm wincing because I'm feeling a lot of pain and pressure in my head. And I'm feeling a massive impact sensation. Now, please forgive me when I tend to get very technical with these sensations. This is what happens when a spirit connects to me, and I realize that, you know, first off, no mother should have to lose a child, and I get that. And so, you know, when I describe what the sensations I'm getting, it's certainly not meant to hurt, but the impact sensation that I'm getting, and I feel that almost immediately the ability to breathe was cut off. And did he die very abruptly, very quickly? Because this feels like a traumatic impact.
Yes, he did.
Okay. And you know, he doesn't want me to go into all the details. He wants to spare you of that. He just wanted to make sure that you knew that this was him. All right. And he said that you have spent so much time reevaluating everything in your life and everything that you could have done differently in your relationship with him. And he said that you should not be doing that because you didn't do anything wrong. And, you know, he looks at you as the ideal version or the ideal mother. I'll tell you, he just loves you so, so, so very much. And I know this is going to sound odd, but he's switching tracks here. And I'm seeing, and I know you're in Canada, so I don't think you have banana trees there, but I'm seeing bananas, those big banana leaves, and I'm seeing lots and lots of bananas. Now, this could mean a couple different things. You know, most people like bananas, but maybe you don't. But this could mean love bananas, hate bananas, but bananas are also a trigger for potassium. Okay, so this could mean an issue that you may be having with potassium or possibly that he did. But does anything about bananas and or potassium make sense to you in any way?
Well, that's kind of what I was wondering, was if there was like a medical reason that triggered this, or that's really what I'm stuck on, is trying to figure out what happened or why, because it didn't really add up.
Okay. It sounds like what you need is going to take more time than we have in these short readings. So I'm going to break protocol. What was his official cause of passing?
He committed suicide, but it was through like a chemical reaction that stopped his breathing, like chemicals that he mixed. Interesting.
Well, potassium is extremely important for your heart to function. But I think he's focusing on you. Is there anything going on with you with blood sugar, potassium, or heart condition?
Not that I'm aware of.
I think you need to get this checked. And he's telling me, because when he focuses on you, I'm getting a potassium washout and depletion. Now, it's interesting because when people sweat a lot or they cry a lot, they grieve a lot, they deplete potassium. So he is talking about that. With him, I'm getting the sense that there were 4 different chemicals, 4 different drugs involved, and it just basically shut his heart off, is what I'm getting. Did you have access to the toxicology report or the forensics? Do you know how many controlled substances were in his system?
Well, that part I accept that it was obvious, but what I'm wondering was if there was an underlying medical
medical condition.
Right.
that triggered this.
Yeah,
you
that
know,
made him decide.
yeah, he keeps hammering me with the potassium. And what I'm feeling here is he had a blood sugar anomaly. And I don't think he was diabetic. It feels more like hypoglycemic, which is low blood sugar. And then when people get older and they're hypoglycemic, it'll flip and they become hyperglycemic, which is diabetic. So what I'm getting is that there was a low blood sugar here. There were potassium issues, and that complicated everything with this influx of medications or drugs. So and he said nobody could have seen that one coming. And he keeps talking about red wing, red wing, red wing. I know there's a company that says Red Wing shoes, but there could be something else about
Mhm.
the word red and the word wing that might make sense to you in any way. Dr. Pat, do you have any insights
No,
for
but I do
Cindy?
know quite a bit about drug interactions.
Okay,
And
good.
I need to make a statement out in front that I'm not a medical doctor. So what I'm about to give you is my experience in working with hundreds of women that have gone through addiction and recovery over the past 30 years. So that's where this is coming from, okay?
Okay.
In the world of drugs, and this is really the downside of so much, as most people that are buying off the streets are not familiar with what they're buying. But I buried two sisters from addiction, drug addiction. And I got to learn about cocaine. And I got to learn about cocaine and the interaction of cocaine with the heart. Anytime potassium comes up in a conversation for me, I automatically go to the kidney. And so when you're talking about the interactions of drugs, things happen that the people taking them don't always mean for them to happen. Do you see what I'm saying?
Well, I guess I'm just a little bit, because the chemicals that I'm thinking of are the chemicals that he used to end his life. And I'm thinking of the cause, because I didn't think he was depressed, and I don't understand why he chose to do this.
Right.
That's why I'm wondering if there was a medical thing that changed his rational thinking, or
Yeah. And let me share one last thing with you.
Yeah.
You know, I love that you're thinking about it, and you may never know. You may never know. There are just some things that happen that you may never know. When my mom had a massive heart attack, I didn't know then what I now know about depression. And not all forms of depression are mental. And in my mom's case, her form of depression was a direct result of what was going on with her heart. And I just didn't know it.
Yeah.
I didn't know it. Right, Mark? There are just some things we may never know. But I guess my question for you, and you don't have to answer it on air, because I don't like putting people on the spot. I wonder what would help you have peace with this.
that is it.
What?
Understanding
Oh.
why, if there was a trigger or something that that was medical,
Mm-hmm.
that would help me.
Because the alternative is too painful, right?
Well, it doesn't make sense,
And it's also too painful.
and it's also too painful, but it
Mhm.
doesn't add up.
Right. It doesn't add up. I lost my mom to suicide. I lost a sister dying on a hospital floor. So it just doesn't add up. And the only pathway to freedom that I got from it was realizing that I wasn't the cause of my mother's suicide, even though my nickname was Pat the Brat and I was intolerable. I wasn't the cause of her depression. I wasn't the cause of that. Neither was my sister. But my sister couldn't live with it, and it killed her. I highly encourage you to find a way, get some help to address your pain. Do you know what I'm saying? Because you may never know. I mean, you may never know. The only reason I knew about my mother is because when my dad died, my stepmother kept letters from my mother. And I grilled my uncle before he died. He's probably cussing at me now. But you have to start finding peace now, because you may never know. You know, remember what I said when I read the Rumi poem, beyond the fields of right or wrongdoing. Beyond those fields, there is a place of peace. I'd like to encourage you to find that pathway. And literally, if you can't do it yourself, please try to get some help. I know how painful it is. My heart goes out to you.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's take a short break. When we come back, we will continue with the psychic and the doc. We are taking your calls. Short break. Jacob's going to take us out. We'll be right back. I know you're playing some song there, Jacob, reminding me of when I took belly dancing lessons right there.
I asked him.
I knew he had to do something like that.
I asked him to get some techno indie.
That's
Well,
some belly dancing. That was like
Diwali.
Bollywood. Thank you. Today's show is about Nirvana, and now everybody, you got a real visual of what that looks like, right? Me doing belly dancing. Actually, it's better looking than when I play table tennis. So this is Nirvana. It is a transcendent state. It is this place where you have neither suffering nor desire, right?
Yes.
It is this place that is described in many more words than we have time in the show. Before we go to the phones, and by the way, I'm going to ask Sarah Main to do a show on me. Sarah Main is a Sanskrit expert, literally one of the premier experts in the world. If you think you're going to go get a tattoo, you need to hire Sarah to make sure you're not putting something on your body that just is not what you think. But today we're taking your calls, 1-800-930-2819. Before we go, Mark, you got to mention the book. You got to tell folks how we're doing there.
Yeah, my new book, The Afterlife Frequency, I was just informed by my publisher, it's gone to a second edition, second printing already.
Yeah.
It came out October 12th, and the publisher's all sold out, so they're printing a second printing.
They got to get more books.
Yeah, more books. We're getting more books. And it's doing well. It's maintained bestseller status, and I'm just very, very honored at the response. And so many people have been emailing me and signing up for readings and saying this book is bringing me so much peace and understanding. So to everybody out there, thank you so very much. And The Afterlife Frequency, if you want to find out more about
just Google it.
Yeah, just Google The Afterlife Frequency or go to my website, afterlifefrequency.com.
Yeah, by the way, if you Google the Afterlife Frequency, you're going to get like a whole bunch of stuff on it. You're going to get the audio. It's Audible. You're going to get that. You're going to get the Goodreads information on it. You're going to see all the 5-star ratings on it. You're going to be able to see, do I want this? Do I want the paperback? Do I want everything? And much more. Okay, we're ready to roll. And here we go.
Alrighty,
Jacob, it's all you.
Sounds great. We've got Claudette from Denver calling in.
Hey, Claudette, you're live on A Psychic and the Doc.
Hi, Claudette.
Hey, Claudette, turn your radio off in the background, would you?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Good.
How can we help you today?
Hi,
Hi.
Dr. Pat and Mark. Hi. I just was wanting to see what would come through for me.
Okay, let me open up the frequency and see who wants to step forward. Wow, this is different. Angels, 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 angels. I'm seeing images of angels. Now, this could be, sometimes angels are one of my triggers for the name Michael because of Archangel Michael, or a trigger for Gabriel because of Archangel Gabriel. So I just want to put those off to the side. But this could indicate somebody, either you or someone connected to you, that really likes angels, images of angels, or something related to angels. And I know this is not a typical opening for me, but this is what I'm getting. Does that make any sense to you, Claudette?
It does. Yes, it makes a lot of sense.
In what way?
I just have a cousin that passed away. It's been a couple of years, but there was a lot of talk about like Archangel Michael, like as a protector, and she had it in her hospital room, and we just kind of focused on that during her passing.
Okay. So let's see. Okay, I think she's stepping forward. She was, her passing was not a quick event. I know that she said she was in a hospital, but what I'm sensing and feeling is I'm getting a draining sensation throughout my body. Yeah. And a draining sensation is an indicator. Okay, took some time for her to pass. And she said the wonderful thing, and even though like her passing was not wonderful for the people around her, but she said the wonderful thing is I got to say goodbye to everybody.
Oh.
Okay. And so she feels very blessed for that. And she said that there were 3 people that were keeping vigil by her side. It feels like it was all women. Does that make sense?
Yeah, total sense. All women. We have mainly women in my family. So.
Oh, that's great. That's great. All right. So let's see what she has for you. Okay.
Okay.
Interesting. And now go with me on this. Is going to sound really weird. I'm hearing clang, 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 goes a trolley, ding, 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 goes a bell. The funny thing is, I have never seen the movie Meet Me in St. Louis, but I know that song is from that movie. And this could mean a couple different things. It could mean somebody with a name like Judy, but it could mean like travel by train, okay, because it's a song about a train. But it can also mean someone with an addiction issue, which may not be her, but it could be someone connected to you or her or someone close to you, unless there's some connection with a name like Louis, St. Louis, or the state of Missouri. Does any of the above make sense?
It sure does.
Okay. In what way?
I have a very close person to me now that's dealing with addiction, and it's affecting, my life.
Okay, so your cousin has definitely chimed in. Hold on. She wants to give you a piece of advice here.
Thank you.
Ooh, I got to be careful on this one. Okay, because I'm going to say this, and I want Dr. Pat to give her interpretation. The words I'm hearing are walk away, walk away. Now, I got to be careful here. Is she saying you walk away from this, or is it don't walk away? But I'm hearing walk away. Dr. Pat?
Yeah. And, let's not take that literally if we could for a minute.
Thank you.
Yeah. But let me just ask you a question though. And the question is, are you feeling torn between caregiving and caregiving too much?
Yes.
Yeah. So walk away. Okay. So I've been working with women in addiction and recovery for over 30 years. And one of the hardest things to do, and one of the hardest things you get out of helping any of the women, I also work with a few men, but generally I work mostly with women. And one of the messages you learn early on is the toughest love imaginable is to not enable. It's tough.
Right.
It's tough. It doesn't mean you don't care. It doesn't mean that. But you have to find a way to care without caring. And what I mean by that is, if you really love somebody, you have to really look at what your boundaries are with them. And it's different for everybody. That's why I can't give you sort of a general, and I wouldn't do it on air anyway. I wouldn't give you a generalized, but you're really struggling with this a lot.
Yes, I am. Hmm.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
kind of just like
You
where
really
I've
care for
been
the
at, like,
person.
right now. Yeah. And it's like,
Mhm.
do I stay? Like, I'm at the crossroad right now. Like, do I continue or do I walk away?
Well, I'll tell you this. There is a little program that I will mention on air that are for people just like what we're talking about. It's called Al-Anon.
Yeah.
You can
Okay.
call an Al-Anon hotline anytime.
Okay.
Call Al-Anon. I don't know where you live, what area you're living in. But
I'm
you
in
can
Denver, Colorado.
oh, Denver, no problem. No problem.
Yeah.
You'll be able to find people in Al-Anon that will talk to you to help you. And they'll spend
Nice,
time
thank you.
listening to your story. Right. Yeah. Al-Anon is a story, a place where people go that are in relationship with people that are addicts and alcoholics.
Okay.
Mhm. And they can help
Yeah,
you make
that
the
sounds-
decision that will help you.
Yes, that sounds great. Thank you.
Oh,
This is all
sure.
great.
Yeah. Google
you.
them. Al-Anon. Okay,
Okay.
great. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Dr. Pat. Thank you,
You're
Mark. I
welcome.
really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for calling in.
Yeah, thank you. Boy, that
Okay.
is one of the
Mhm.
toughest things to do. Boy, I have a family full of them. Jacob, it's all you.
Alrighty, we've got Pat from Nebraska next.
Hey, Pat,
And we're
welcome
on
to
right
the
now.
show.
Hey there, Pat.
Hey, Pat.
Hello.
Hey, you're live on the Psychic and the Doc. How can we help you?
Oh my. Okay.
Yes, I know.
Um,
I know, right? It's like, how does it get any better than this, right?
It's that lights, camera, action moment, isn't it, Pat?
it is. It's like, oh, I thought I was just hearing someone else on there. Okay. I've been feeling a little uneasy lately, just kind of feeling like there's some kind of a negative energy around me, and I finally kind of put up a shield around myself a few days ago, which helped some, but I haven't been able to meditate at all or to have a sense of my guides or spirits being anywhere around me, and I don't get it.
It's interesting.
Just,
Well, sometimes, Pat, you have a day like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like even an Olympic athlete, every now and then they just want to lay on the couch and watch TV. It's and what I'm getting with you is that basically you need a disconnect for a while. There's no negative entity. There's no boogeyman coming to get you. Basically, what's happening is that you've been running your brain at full throttle, and the 4 levels of your auric field, physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual, the mental is at exhaustion point. And the other 3 levels, the physical, spiritual, and emotional, are being affected by that. They're, on their own, they're fine, but they're being affected by that because you're simply mentally fatigued. So basically, you just need to take a break. And have you been doing a lot of reading? Because I'm getting like all this massive visual input for you that has brought you to the point of mental exhaustion.
yes.
Well, there you go. Dr. Pat?
I just have one thing to say and just ask you, when was the last time you really did something for yourself?
Well, that's what the reading is about, to be able to get myself, I'm trying to be good to myself so that way then I can help others.
Okay, so
And so I'm trying to learn as much as I can, as fast as I can.
okay, so you're reading, you're studying reading.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's different, right? So I'm rereading the book Doom, like for fun, but you're studying reading. So here's what's going on. I'm going to just tell you this as an idea, hypotheses. There's a thing as taking way too much knowledge in at a sitting at one point in time. And let me explain what that means. that means that you're taking it because you don't think you have enough wisdom yourself. And what's happening is you're reading to fill a gap that you've created about yourself that actually doesn't even exist.
Well, I guess
Put the books down.
I'm reading so I can learn how to what the stuff is with the chakras and with all the rest of the stuff, so I can figure my life out.
Yeah. And what I'm trying to say is, remember I read the poem about Rumi, Beyond a Feel of Right or Wrongdoing? He's talking about doing zero. This is what Nirvana is. I want to invite you to take a break from reading this, unless, this is the only exception, unless you are so like passionate, you cannot wait to get your hands on the Masters of the Far East, or Neville, or I don't know, Seth, whatever it is, anyone, unless there's something that is like, oh my gosh, I just hear this book and this name and I've got to read it for fun. You have to give yourself time to absorb what you're reading. Do you know what I'm saying? You have to take it in, take a break. Then your guides are going to come in and help you interpret it. But if you keep going, the guides can't get in to say, hey, let me tell you about what you just read about that chakra.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah, when you try too hard, it never works.
Right.
And that's why the message for you is take a break.
Right.
You know, it's like saying, I'm going to have a spiritual experience. I'm going to have it right now. And it's like, yeah, that's not how it works.
Right. You're not divorcing yourself from reading. It's not that. I mean, you don't need a reading divorce attorney for it. You're just taking a breathing break.
Okay. Well, I figured I had a 4-year break when I haven't done anything at all after my husband died, and I just couldn't do anything, and I just could not. I could not ignore all the different messages and things that he was sending to me. So it was like, okay, I need to learn about this stuff. I need to get with it.
Right. Well, we'll do it in increments. Okay. Yeah. Because that's, go. I'm sorry, Dr. Pat.
Yeah. But let me just say one thing. You already answered your own question, because see, you were getting all the messages from your husband before you picked up the book. So you already know how to do it. So you're trying to understand how it's working. But see, you already know how to do it if you were getting messages. Right, Mark? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
It's, absolutely. So Pat, just don't be so hard on yourself.
Yeah.
Nirvana is sometimes the art of doing nothing, which is a lot harder than it sounds.
And give yourself a little credit, Pat. If you are spending years getting messages from your loved one, if that was happening, you have a key that unlocked a door that many people don't ever unlock. Whatever you think you are, you're more than that. Got it?
Well, he made it so I could not miss it.
Well, we got to read Mark's book on that, because Mark tells you how to like turn them off and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know which book of yours is that, but whatever that book is, that was helpful to me.
Well, that was the Afterlife Frequency, the new one, because
there we go.
Yeah, because the thing is, it teaches you how to turn it on, how to turn it off, how to be aware of it. And you got to realize, even athletes, rest is as important as exercise. And it's the same thing. You can't just read and hope it just absorbs by osmosis. You got to give yourself time to process it.
Yeah.
So you're doing all the right things. Just take a break.
Yeah.
Have some chocolate.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it. Take a break. That's it. You have our permission.
Okay, well,
Thank you for calling in, Pat.
I've got all 3 of Mark's books here. I've read one, but there's 2 more to read. So
Yeah,
just hold off, huh?
yeah. Which one did you read, though? Tell me the one you read.
The first one.
Never letting go.
I'm trying to do it in order.
That's a
Yeah,
good
no,
one.
that's
a
good
good one.
because I wrote them in order for a reason.
Yeah, take
So
a
your-
break.
Yeah,
Take
your
a break.
methodology is right. Just pace yourself and take a break. Well,
Yeah.
Pat, thank you so very much.
Thank you for calling in. I
God
think we
bless.
have time. Jacob, right? A really short one?
It's got to be real quick here, but we've got Christy from Louisiana.
Go ahead, Christy. You're on with Mark.
Hi there, Christy.
Christy.
Hey, Christy, you're live on a show.
Yes, hi, how are you?
Good. I'm going to connect you with Mark here because we've got about 3 minutes.
Okay, what can I help you with?
Okay. Okay, Mark, our speaker. I lost my brother about a month ago.
I'm sorry, your
And
brother or your
I-
mother? I couldn't understand.
My brother. I said, I lost my
your
brother
brother.
a month ago tomorrow. And I don't know, I said a few things to him on his deathbed if he really and truly heard me. And I don't know
Okay.
if it's too soon for him to send me a
Oh,
message.
hold on, stop.
but I still feel his presence.
All right. Your spirits can communicate right away. So don't worry about him being able to communicate because he can. Was he having a lot of trouble with his endocrine system, particularly his liver and his abdomen?
Yes.
Okay, great. So I'm locked onto him. And he said that, yes, he heard everything that you were saying. And you kept like, were you rubbing his arm, like stroking his arm?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And is there something about the rosary? The rosary? I don't know if you guys are Catholic, but it could be like something about Mary, Mother Mary, or rosary, or Rosemary. I keep hearing like rosary. Does that make any sense to you?
Rosary does, yes. We put my father's rosary in his head.
There you go. See, he's letting you
Yeah.
know that
Yeah.
you put the rosary. So he did hear you.
Yeah.
And he said, I'm so glad you called in. And
Yeah.
he said, I always knew how much you loved me, but now I know how much more than I could possibly understand than when I was in this world. He said that in spirit form, our capacity to love is just boundless. And so it's so beautiful, the love connection between you, your brother, your entire family. And so he keeps saying 3 cheers, 3 cheers, 3 cheers. There's got to be something about 3 cheers that makes sense.
3 cheers.
3 cheers, yeah.
Yeah. You ever like hip hip hooray? You ever hear that? That's like everybody
Not
does
right
that
now.
in
Maybe if
threes.
That's one of those things that's going to hit you later on. This
Yeah.
is really strong because I keep
Yeah.
seeing 3 cheers, 3
Yeah.
cheers.
Yeah.
Okay, so
3
give yourself
cheers.
3
Yeah,
cheers.
it could, when I open a show, when I open my daytime show, for whatever reason, I always
Mhm.
go, welcome, welcome, welcome. Right? For
Mhm.
whatever reason, I do it 3 times. So look for that repetition. It may
Okay,
not
I
be
will.
like clapping or like that. It's right. It could be something else. All right, good.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Sorry.
I'm
for
so
your
glad he
loss.
heard me. That was
Yeah.
my worry. I was worrying, and I was
No.
rubbing his hand.
No,
He
you
heard
got
you.
it.
And it could have been a series of 3
Okay.
things that you said to him too.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind.
I
'cause it
did
could-
say in repetition that it was okay to let go.
Aha.
Okay.
That it was
there we
okay to
go.
go.
That's
Bingo.
it. That's
And I
it.
did say that about 3 times.
Bingo.
That's right.
We got it.
There's nothing more powerful in cheering than hearing someone acknowledge the okay to let go.
Oh, yeah.
That is an enormous
That's
energy.
what I told him, and I did say it in repetition
Oh my God,
3
there you go.
times.
There you
Okay.
go.
Thank you.
So
Powerful.
thank you so
Yeah.
much for calling in. God
Yeah.
bless you. And I'm sorry
Mark.
for your loss.
What a great show. Great audience on the planet. Mark,
Amazing.
Any
Yeah.
parting words before Jacob's like ready to roll here?
Yes, Nirvana November continues. And
It
next
does.
week, we will be honoring our veterans with an extremely special guest, Diane Corcoran, who is not only U.S. military, but also a near-death experiencer. So we're going to really be going deep, and I'm inviting all of you listeners to come back next week, and we'll be here. I'm the psychic, and I'm with the doc.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning us in. Thank you, Jacob, and everybody picking up the phones. We'll see you next time.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for tuning into The Psychic and the Doc with Mark Anthony and me, Dr. Pat Baccili, right here on transformationtalkradio.com. Hey, look, come back next week so we can explore with you more of life's many challenges and learn from fascinating guests. And you know what? Even Mark and me. We'll connect you and discover insights from people in this life and from the afterlife. Extraordinary problems? Yeah, they do. They require extraordinary solutions. But step into the world of possibilities with us on The Psychic and the Doc. That's every Thursday, 4 p.m. Pacific Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on transformationtalkradio.com. That's transformationtalkradio.com. And don't forget, we're also live face-to-face on facebook.com, Transformation Talk Radio.